Hey guys, today I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nancy. I wanted to share with you products that I was disappointed in that I bought because of the hype. Many of these products are very hyped up on the internet. Some might even consider them to be viral products. Now, a few of these products I do like and use. Some of them I even really enjoy, but I still don't feel like they deserve the hype that they get. Like maybe they're very easily dupable or just kind of average to me. So let's go ahead and start with actually the product that inspired this video. This is the e.l.f. Brow Lift. It's the clear brow gel, whatever you want to call it, in the pot here. It's supposed to be a dupe, I think, for the Anastasia Brow Freeze, which I haven't tried. I have tried this so many times and I've concluded that I just don't like it. I just don't like using it. It's not fun to use. And on top of that, it doesn't hold my brows in place. When I first apply it to my brows, usually it looks really good. Like it looks like I've had my brows laminated, except for the times where I have like white stuff, like it kind of turns white in my brows, which I think is probably it like reacting with my sunscreen, or not reacting, not like a chemical reaction, but like it's like combining with my sunscreen and that's what's making it turn white, because that doesn't happen if I like don't have sunscreen on. But even aside from that, after a few hours, my brow hairs do start to fall and they don't stay in place like they're supposed to with this product, which I think the whole point of this is that it's supposed to keep your brows locked in all day. And I just find it really annoying to use. I think I would just prefer a brow gel that, comes in a tube where you have a spoolie built in, because with this, you're supposed to dip a clean spoolie into it. That's what the instructions say to do. What I typically do is I'll scoop some out. I do have the e.l.f. Brow Lift applicator. I'll scoop some out with the flat end of this and put it in the lid, and then I'll pick it up from there with the spoolie because I don't want to stick a dirty spoolie in there. But to me, that's just too much work, because by the time I've done all that, I could have already brushed through my brows with a brow gel. I just don't really get it. For all the trouble that it takes to use it, it just doesn't really hold my brows in place for longer than like maybe an hour. The first time I used this, it was in a first impressions video, and I did like it in that video because it really did make my brows look incredible the first time I applied it. But the more I used it, the more I was just like, this is just not practical, and it doesn't really hold my brows long term. Another product that I think is so overrated, I've talked about this quite a few times on my channel already, but this is the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in the shade Airy is what I have. I'm currently trying to use this up. First of all, this is a product that suffers from chronic hardpan, which I just think for anything that's this expensive, I shouldn't have to constantly be dealing with hardpan. It's especially, I keep getting it around the edges mostly. The first time I used it was the worst. The more I've used it, the less hardpan I've gotten, but I still pretty much always have a ring of hardpan around the edges. You can see how it's like flat in the middle, but then around the edges it's not, because I have a hard time picking up the powder there because it's hardpan. So for that reason alone, I just think it's not worth it. But also, on my skin, I just don't feel like this does anything different from other powders that are much cheaper. Like, I think the CoverGirl Clean Fresh pressed powder in the pink compact is at least as good as this, if not better, because I'm not dealing with the hardpan issue. This is the powder that I have on my face today. I think it looks nice, but I just think that the drugstore does powder so well that I just wish I hadn't fallen for the hype on this, because I don't think it was worth the money. I did get it on a really good sale, but still. The next thing that I think is overrated is Sigma brushes. I only have 3 of these now. I used to have more, but I decluttered the other ones. The 3 that I have, I do like, and I use them. I have the flat kabuki, the tapered highlighter, and the pencil brush. I do think they feel high quality, like I will give it that. The handles and the ferrule, they feel really sturdy. I do think that these are gonna last a long time. But the thing I don't like about these is the bristles themselves. They're almost too slippery or slick or something. Like, you can tell that they're synthetic bristles, and I only use synthetic bristle brushes. But I have so many others that I like better, even from the drugstore, that even though they are synthetic, they feel more like a natural hair. But these, they're like too smooth to where I feel like they don't pick up product as effectively as others. And like the one that I hated the most was like the regular powder brush. I forget which one, but I'll pop it on the screen. I just felt like it didn't pick up enough powder, and it didn't give me an even dusting of powder on my face. And I've never had that problem with the powder brush, but there was just something about that brush that I just hated it. Like, I hated looking at it. I hated using it. I don't know. Like, these three that I have, I do like. I actually will say the flat kabuki brush is a good foundation brush where you don't get, you know, much streaking or anything. So I think they have some good brushes, but I think as a whole, they're a little overrated. For high-end brushes, I think BK Beauty does a much better job than Sigma. I prefer those over Sigma any day. I just don't. I'm not a fan. Another product I bought for the hype, I don't have it anymore, but it's the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. This one, really unfortunate because it's so affordable, which I am always looking for, you know, affordable mascaras, especially because you have to replace mascaras so often. I don't like to spend a lot of money on them. This one made my lashes look incredible, so I will give it that. But it smudged so badly on me, and I've heard that from so many other people. I know everyone's different, but I don't understand how other people don't get major smudging with that one, because, like, you know, I always powder my under eyes and everything, which is supposed to help with transfer, but it did nothing to stop the transfer with that mascara. So I was a little disappointed. I've heard that that is true for a lot of the Essence Lash Princess mascaras, except for the waterproof ones, which I don't really like to use waterproof mascara because it's hard to remove. Yeah, I really wanted to like that mascara, but it just didn't work for me. So next up, let's talk about Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like actually the same could be said for both Kosas and Charlotte Tilbury. I think these are two overhyped brands. Like, they definitely have some good products, but as a whole, I just think these brands get way, way too much hype. These are two products from Charlotte Tilbury that I like, but I do not think they were worth the money. So first up, this one, out of all of these products, I think this is one of the most overhyped ones. This is the Eyes to Mesmerize Cream Shadow. I have the shade Rose Gold. This just looks like any other rose gold shadow. There's nothing special about the shade of this, and really, for me, if I'm paying big bucks for an eyeshadow, like a single shadow like this, there had better be something that, like, sets it apart from other shadows. Otherwise, like, what's the point? I will give it, I do like the formula. I do think it has a really nice creamy texture that I haven't experienced with other cream shadows. It almost feels like an eye cream or something. Like, and if you press hard, you'll get, like, way too much. Like, you can see, like, I picked up a lot there. But just look at the shade. Like, sure, that's pretty, but it's not worth, what is it, like $36? Fortunately, I spent a gift card on this, so I didn't, like, actually spend my own money on it, so that's, I guess, silver lining, but I wish I would have spent my gift card on something else from Charlotte Tilbury, you know? Because I have it, I use it, I like the effect that I get with it, but it just annoys me that it's so expensive for such a just average color. I know some of the shades people like more, like the shade Oyster Pearl is really popular, and I've heard that that one is, like, somehow more special than Rose Gold, but I just don't think I could bring myself to spend that much on a single shadow again. Even if the shade is nice, I mean, I have so many nice shadows already that I don't think I'm gonna fall for that again. Then we have the Hollywood Flawless Filter, arguably one of the most popular products from Charlotte Tilbury's line. And this has grown on me since I bought it. And luckily I bought the mini. So the mini you can get for $17, which is still a lot for, what is this, half an ounce? No, 0.18 fluid ounces. Okay, why did I think it was half a fluid ounce? So this is a multi-purpose product. You can use it as a primer, as a liquid highlighter. You can use it as a base because it does have some coverage to it. So I like that it has, you know, a lot of different purposes. I use it for all sorts of things. Most of the time I'll mix it with a foundation or with a liquid lipstick to make a cream blush, and it adds some nice glow. That's what that looks like right there. See, it's got like a sheen to it, but it's not glittery or anything, so I can see why people like this, and I like it myself, but I still think it's a bit overhyped, especially now that some brands have duped this, like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, which I know has been out of stock pretty much since it came out because it went so viral. But I think in the future, if I wanted a product like this, like once I run out of this, I would definitely not pay Charlotte Tilbury prices for this kind of thing. I would definitely go for the e.l.f. one or, you know, some other dupe, because it's good, but it's not luxury price good. Lastly, I have a couple products from Tower 28. Tower 28, kind of like Kosas, they're a clean brand. They're very much like a cool girl makeup brand. They get a ton of hype though, and these are basically their two most popular products. Their Beach Please blush and their lip gloss. Now, to be clear, I do like both of these, but the longer I've had them, the more I just feel like they are nothing special compared to everything else that's out there. The cream blush I think is really pretty, but it's just, to me, like this formula is just like every other cream blush that I've tried. And I think it's really similar to the Milani Cheek Kiss cream blushes. To me, these are similar in just like how dewy they both are, but I like the Milani one even better, I've decided, because it's not as sticky as the Tower 28 one. Like the Tower 28 blush, as I'm even swatching it on my hand, like it has a tackiness to it, whereas the Milani one is just a little bit smoother. Like when you touch it, it just feels sticky. One thing to keep in mind is that it is always getting dirty. Like you have to wipe this off after pretty much every use because you can just see, and I need to wipe it off right now, but you can just see how it gets so dirty so quickly. So it's not going to look that nice and sleek after you use it like one time unless you wipe it off after every use, whereas I don't have that problem with the Milani one, even though this one has clear packaging. So even though I like this and I've enjoyed it, I'm glad I didn't pay full price for it, and I don't really understand why it's so hyped up, because there are just so many great cream blushes on the market now from more affordable brands, like the Milani one. Just saying. You know what, as I'm saying all this, I think what I'm realizing is that this came out, and this was really its peak popularity, you know, maybe like a year or so ago, back when there weren't as many cream blushes on the market. But now that there are so many cream blushes that have come out from more affordable brands, I don't think it stands out like it used to, maybe. That's my theory. And then same with the Tower 28 gloss. I have the shade Pistachio here, which is a nice nude pink. And similar thing with the blush. I do really like this formula. It has a nice milky, almost gel-like sort of texture. So I get why people like it, but I also just think I don't need to spend money on high-end lip glosses because the drugstore does lip gloss so well. Same with powders, like I said before. I love the Milani lip glosses, the e.l.f. lip plumping glosses. Those are both so good. More affordable than this, I think like half the price of this. I can see why people like this, but at the same time, I just think it's gotten a little too much hype for what it is, you know? It's really just a lip gloss at the end of the day. I've also heard from a lot of people that these expire quickly, which would make sense for a clean brand. So far so good with mine, but you know, I haven't had it that long. So we'll see, but I'm probably going to try to use this up next year just because I don't want it to go bad. So those are the products that I feel they just get a little more hype than they deserve, or a lot more hype than they deserve in some cases. So let me know if you've tried these products, and if you do like them, I would like to hear like what you like about them, how you like to use them, so that maybe I can figure out, maybe I'm just missing something, you know? I hope that that's the case because I want to like these products, but I was a little disappointed. Let me know if you would like to see the opposite of this video where I talk about products I bought because of the hype that I actually did end up loving, and I do think they're worth the hype, because I definitely have some of those as well. Also, mark your calendars because I will be doing 12 days of Vlogmas. The first 12 days of December, I'll be uploading every day, so I hope to see you there. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye.